We've got the other half of his wing, which is going to pit these two gentlemen against one another. Let's bring them out. First up, it's Faintmemory. The 27-year-old student from Vancouver, who's been playing since October 2015, and talk to us a little bit about watching the competition.
I have most of the players playing here favorited, and I watch, look for their matches. Unfortunately, they're pretty quick at deleting their practice matches. And same for me, I delete mine when after I skirm. Yeah, and I skirm Fwa a lot. Yeah, and he's has no answer to my Wind Panda, but.
Oh, the coveted Wind Panda. Round of 16, Faintmemory got rid of one OP cookie 2-0, and he's going to be facing Makeitabud. Bud upsetting brain lag in the first round, the 27-year-old consultant from Arcadia, California, who got his start 3 years ago and talked about it with us before the match.
Yeah, so I actually started a long time ago, probably about 2.5 years ago, quit for about a year, and then started playing hardcore for about 1.5 years. I really liked the random element of it and the strategic element of it. So I'm a person that likes strategy games, so that naturally just kind of drew me in, and it's what keeps me there.
And also what's kept him here, that good-looking defeat of brain lag, which I think all of us kind of were amazed by. It was dominant, his performance.
Yeah, I really liked his performance against Brain Lag. Again, Brain Lag being one of the favorites to win the entire thing as well. Didn't show too much nerves. He was very focused. You saw it on his face, and I can see him bringing that same focus into his fight against Faint, who is also a very strong competitor as well.
In watching him, though, focus aside, it was an emotional roller coaster for Bud in that match.
It was. There was a lot of back and forth in that match, and it honestly could have gone either way. If those guys had played again, let's say it was like the best of 5, you know, they could have gone a different story.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, in this tournament, you lose twice, you're out.
Yeah, describing it as dominance not fair. I'm looking at it from a perspective of the fact that he won 2-0, which I think we couldn't have anticipated.
No.
But certainly, it's not as though Brain just got owned, you know, in both of those matches, as the two players are logging into their tablets and just moments away.
And that's one of the things with these tournaments, is that you're going to see a lot more strategy in these final 8 matches, because now these other players, they've seen what kind of units they're running with. Well, what are their first picks? What are their second picks? How are they counter drafting? Who are they banning? Do they have maybe a really fast unit that's not, let's say, traditional that you would maybe see? So these matches, there's a lot more thought that goes into it, whereas before, it was kind of just for everyone's first time seeing, you know, what they had, what were they working with.
You've kind of tipped your hand at this point. The curtain has been peeled back. You know, people have gotten a look at your box. They kind of know what you lean toward and what your approach is to certain drafting in your opponents.
Yeah, and I would say in this match, particularly, both have only seen 2 rounds of their opponent, because they won pretty dominantly in both their matches. And Faint actually had the same type of composition in both of his rounds. It was a very speed central type of composition, and he may go completely different against Makeitabud here.
Well, that's the other thing. You're aware that your opponent has gotten that glimpse and has that insight, and is perhaps addressing that under the expectation that you're going to come with the same stuff that worked before. And it's a little bit risky to go away from that, because it did work indeed, but this time you've got somebody who's better equipped. So what do you do? That's the decisions moment.
Find out.
Yep, I guess it kind of goes right from the get-go when you find out who picks first.
Yeah, there's
That's where it
always
really
that
begins.
element.
Especially if their strategies rely on the same unit.
Where you run the interference, you kind of block by virtue of drafting what you know the other guy's going to want. But we've seen baiting as well, and Faintmemory is
we have. That was
a guy capable of that.
That's one of his things that he likes to do, and like he said in his interview, he's done his homework. He knows what kind of units that these players are playing with. It just kind of makes you think, those how deep are you thinking? Are you overthinking it? Are you underthinking it? You know, reverse psychology, does that kick in? And here's Faintmemory with the Wind Fairy King pick right away. Makeitabud already having a hard time picking his first 2 units. And that's just one of those units that a lot of these players that will use just because Ventilate is such a strong ability, being able to reset a cooldown to full duration, as well as his other skill, being able to control cooldowns, reset attack bar, and then strip on his first skill. He has so much to offer for 1 unit.
Yeah, I definitely like the Raccoony pick into Ganymede. However, the Molong pick may or may not be a good choice, especially seeing Faintmemory's last compositions being very quick. It might leave that Molong vulnerable to a Ganymede reset, and from that point, after Molong gets reset, he's not really as effective as he would be against a different type of composition, but he might be planning on banning the Ganymede if that is the situation.
Is that a Wusa Tesorian answer from
That is a
Faintmemory?
Chiwu. That is the Fire Pioneer. He is a little bit different. He's more of like an offensive unit. He can strip immunity. He can block beneficial effects. He can still sleep on his first skill. But one of the nice things about Chiwu is that he has a speed lead as well, which makes him a popular unit for those that have him, especially if you're a player like Faintmemory where you're trying to get that first turn to start that momentum.
And here we see a Gani Hathor combination. If those two get rolling, there is very, very little that you'll be able to do. So
I can't watch.
From Makeitabud's situation,
quick.
he either needs to figure out how he's going to counter those two or plan on banning one or the other. Otherwise, it's just going to be a long match for Makeitabud where he's not even going to get a turn.
One more pick from Makeitabud, down to 5 seconds.
And he does actually have the Raccoony in there, which is a pretty good counter to those two. So we'll see what he does, though. Here comes the ban
This
stage.
is actually a really big ban. These two have so many different types of units that they can work with on their team. And looks like they chose, they got the ban on Wusa for Makeitabud and the Tesarian ban on Faintmemory.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see the Wusa ban, even though he has Chiwu.
Right, right.
Maybe Faintmemory was actually thinking that Makeitabud was going to be banning his Chiwu because
It's just
of
a
the
lot of
speed lead.
sustain with Arconi, Wind Panda, and Wusa. That's a lot of sustain right there.
is a
So I
lot
feel
of
like you got to they should choose one of the 3. And he was maybe hoping that his Tesarian wouldn't have been banned, and that would have been unenabled the Wind Panda and the Raccoony had the Tesarian not been banned. So a smart choice, I think, on Makeitabud to ban the Tesarian.
Right, so in this match right here, I would say that just by pick ban stage, I would give this to Makeitabud right now. He's in a good position. However, if those Ganymede Hathor get going, they have a couple monsters that they have to deal with. The one is the Raccoony there on the right-hand side of your screen. But aside from that, once that's down, you're not going to have any buff strips or harmful effect strips, rather, from the Raccoony, and you can pretty much lock them down for the rest of the way.
3 out of 4 Bud's units in Dreamland right now.
Stop. All right, and as we see, he's going after the Raccoony first stop. He wants to keep the Sierra, Molong, and Feng Yan slept there as much as he possibly can, and then keep the Raccoony down at lower HP than all of them.
Second match of our round of 8. Can Bud follow up the upset of Brain Lag by getting through Faintmemory here? You guys like the comp.
Well, we can already see that the Raccoony is not taking a whole lot of damage. It's going to be tough for Faintmemory to break through that Raccoony because he doesn't have any damage dealing monsters on his team. We saw the Chiwu, though does actually, it's generally built as a support monster. However, Faintmemory was doing a lot of damage on or with his Chiwu in his previous match against.
And that was one of the things when Chiwu was in this Gani, we were able to tee up on that team, is when Bastet was able to play the AoE defense break. But now that he has Thor on the team, he can't necessarily play Bastet in such a way to AoE defense break like that. It's a little bit more of a slowing match. You know, he has to kind of eliminate these units by process of elimination. And right now, to be able to kind of like just take Raccoony out of the game, he's keeping that HP lower while keeping the rest of the units slept, which is really smart. And it's actually really tricky to do too.
And we can see though how just dominating Ganymede and Hathor are together. It's like you can see it on Makeitabud's face. He's already breathing heavy. He's just waiting. There's nothing he can really do because all of his monsters are slept, and Ganymede is just resetting Hathor every single time. And that attack bar reduction, the sleep comes in, and he's able to just work away and wither away at that Raccoon. There's nothing he can do.
Bud didn't have to put himself in this situation. He didn't ban that Gani Hathor combo, and that's why he finds himself in the situation he's in.
I think part of him was hoping for stuns with his Molong, since Molong was actually really fast. It's just he didn't necessarily get the stuns the way that he wanted it to, and then Faintmemory was able to get his units to start going. And then Faintmemory just eventually got him into this endless loop that he's in right now, and now that was the end. Reason why he ended up losing is Raccoon.
And then the fact that now he awakens the Sierra, but was able to do it at the same exact time as he's resetting Sierra's skills, and it's just a matter of time before Sierra's down, and there's nothing that she can really do while she's awake.
You believe the sleep from Chu.
And of course, the sleep.
Thor
from
wasn't
Chu.
enough. Not enough sleep.
I've never seen so many sleeps from Pioneers than I have.
These guys are
before in this
stacking a lot of accuracy. These guys, it's a big part, like a lot of resist, a lot of accuracy. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of players that don't have the experience or aren't as high as, like, let's say G3 is that they don't value resist and accuracy enough.
Faintmemory is like an ambient dealer.
Fangyan actually getting a couple turns off before he is put right back to sleep by the Hathor. He resists it, which is giving Makeitabud life in this round here. So
look at the Chiwu.
Another sleep by Chiwu.
Sleep on Ciara. It's tough to watch.
Not allowing the Fangyan to use his second skill and get the revenge buff up. And putting it right back to sleep, actually taking a huge chunk of HP out of that Fangyan, and then able to, again, reventilate the Hathor, and it's just working away. Again, like I said, it's just a long match for Makeitabud, just trying to figure out something he can do to hope and pray for a violent proc or two.
Well, after the change in Season 2, limiting the amount of violent procs a unit can take to 1 turn, it kind of affects a unit like Ciara in this position where her cooldowns are down. The team doesn't have immunity, but you can't proc violent as many times as you used to be able to in Season 1.
So we saw Faintmemory think there just for a second as far as who he wanted to wake up between Molong or was that a sleep by Hathor?
That was a sleep
okay.
from Hathor, yeah.
Okay.
Skill 2. Yep. And then a despair stun on Molong with Chibu.
So no luck for Makeitabud. Like I said, that Gani Hathor combination is just not fun.
I think it's safe to say that Makeitabud's going to go out of his way to not let those 2 units be on the same team. However, we did just see Fangyan take down Bestep, but that Chiwu just keeps stunning him.
Violent proc from Ganymede to finish it off. Faintmemory looking very, very confident in that round. We'll see what he does in round 2.
Koopa, was that match lost in the draft, the way things played out?
I think it was more so lost in the ban. Like, Claytano was really surprised and really excited about the Hathor and Gani being on, and I don't have either of those units, so it's tough for me to be able to see that. But he has more experience with it, and that was I didn't expect to see that. That was really, it was like kind of like an endless loop. It was really smart though on Faintmemory's side where he went for Raccoon first, which keeps him slept.
Yeah, definitely needed to go after the Raccoon first, otherwise that Raccoon would have been either healing or removing those debuffs from his own team, and that would have completely countered the Gani Hathor combination. But
yeah, so that doesn't really, a lot of players don't see that kind of thing, and so if you're a Raccoon user, you can get away with Raccoon dispelling the entire team, especially if you're up against someone like Hathor. But when you're going up against some of these players that really understand those basic fundamentals of this game, like Faintmemory, he doesn't let you get away with that.
yeah, and I would assume that all the players watching this now today are realizing how important and how great Raccoon is as a 3-star monster, very obtainable for a lot of players that are watching, and how to utilize it and counter it and somehow work it into their strategies as well. And we see the Ganymede pick, and with a big old smile from his face.
Had enough of that.
He had plenty enough, but Faintmemory picking his Wind Panda. Makeitabud rolling his eyes a little bit there.
He had to expect that though, right? I mean, like, you know,
well, you would think
you're not going to block and then the other guy just lets you continue to put the comp together that you want.
That is true, but Faintmemory, as we've seen in all of his other matches, is kind of more of a speed control type player, and to see a Tsarian Fangyan combination is a little bit different than what we've been seeing from Faintmemory.
I think Makeitabud's also trying to pick some units from Faintmemory here. You can see him drafting 2 units that share passives, even though Faintmemory did pick Tsarian. So I think Faintmemory is finding himself in a position right now where he might have to kind of choose something that he wasn't expecting to. This is a really interesting draft so far, though.
Raccoon, Molong. Is that Perna?
It's Perna. You're doing well. You're doing well learning all these units. I'm impressed. And that's Wusa.
I like the Wusa last pick there. You need some sort of immunity because you see the Hathor coming down. You also have the Tessarian that will be kind of running through Perna and
You almost expect Makeitabud to ban Hathor here, just because after that last match of being slept the entire time, it's like I want nothing to do with either of those units. I'm gonna steal pick Gani. I'm gonna ban Hathor. But it looks like we have Makeitabud banning Tessarian and Faintmemory banning Wind Fairy King.
I think that's a good option for Makeitabud in this one.
I think so too. The Raccoon Perna, you can't take away their passives, especially with the risk that he might have his Wusa banned. And in that situation, he could potentially lose his Perna right away.
Yeah.
So
with
down
one bio proc.
Down 1 zip, Makeitabud hoping to level the score here after that incredibly dreamlike state. Bud had to be stuck in for most of the first match by Faintmemory.
Let's see if he wakes up here for
Yeah,
this
Makeitabud's
match.
actually in a really good position because he has a fast Molong. Faintmemory doesn't have a speed lead, and Makeitabud also has Wish of Immortality. So I feel like he's actually in a really good position. He's got a safety net, he has his immunity, he's got a shield, and he also has a chance to strip stun Faintmemory's entire team here. But
So
he doesn't look at the Stun of Mistet, which is actually really strong though. It's actually really strong that he got the Stun of Mistet there.
So you like the balance of Bud's comp here, especially up against what,
yes,
what Memory's showing.
He's got a really strong composition right now. The only thing that Faintmemory has to work against this Wusa is Hathor's skill 2 that can strip, and he just played it on Molong.
Reckless Assault. Is he going to go straight for that Hathor there, get rid of that, or is he going to take down the Theo?
We got the defense break that enables this Perna.
Saves the turn 3 or skill 3 from Molong, and big damage from Hathor. He's going to finish it off with the Wusa. Will he potentially get that crit in there on a non-elemental advantage? Does not decide to go for the Hathor, leaves it in play. Maybe a bad decision with the
Hathor could
in.
stay alive, especially with recovery buff right now.
But I think he has confidence in his Perna. There's no violent proc from Hathor. I would say don't use turn 3 on Hathor. Try to go after maybe Theomars, because I don't know.
It's a
Molong's
tough situation.
Pretty much.
It's a tough position right now. It's very fragile. One wrong move right now could make this anyone's game.
Yeah, definitely an extremely exciting match. Does not do any damage with that shield.
Doesn't even get to do this shield. Still gets the heal though.
That
defense break. Is he going to take it down?
He's
able to bring it down.
That Memory has, Clay. I mean, Voix stated was going to solo the tournament at one point because it was such a strong.
Well, we'll have to see. This procs bio and ends up almost killing Molong there. Raccoon passive healing Molong. And Raccoon going to be able to take an additional turn. Who's going to give it to though? Do he give it to Raccoon? He does.
Give it to himself to get that extra heal on the Molong, and then he's going to keep getting heals from Perna and try to get that HP back up to where he's not going to be getting one-shotted by the Fang Yan. You also have Theomars there that could potentially one-shot a monster.
Don't want Theo taking a turn.
Yeah,
No one wants Theo to take a turn and then proc bio. Glancing hit, not going to do a lot of damage, even to a Bistet with defense break.
Oh, gets the violent proc from Fang Yan, decides to throw up.
We get Wish of Immortality though, might give Molong enough HP to survive this hit from Theo.
Oh,
With attack buff though, it's gonna hurt. And
took it down.
And the Vio proc.
Is he gonna get a crit? He did get the crit plus a violent proc.
That's what he needed to stay in this. Theo Wind Panda, it's gonna be really tough.
I would try to get that stun, did not get the stun.
Oh my goodness, that Panda doing a lot of damage.
This match is still anybody's game. He gets
Theo.
a clutch stun against a water monster, being a fire monster, as Perna takes that to Theomars there.
Hope for a glancing hit.
Flame Nova takes it down. One more hit, and Theomars is dead. And then we have Perna.
Perna coming back. No Vile proc out of
and
Theo.
Wusa going after the Fang Yan. Another violent proc. That Faintmemory is doing a lot of damage to the Perna. Makeitabud's got to be really careful here and how he's playing.
Gotta hope for a stun out of Perna onto that Panda.
Now he's 3-on-1. Just
Gonna get it?
to get
He
rid
got
of
it.
Panda.
That's exactly what he needed. And it might have just been enough to propel him to the next match.
They could see how anxious he is. He's just hoping for the right proc. However, he's going to be able to get the revenge and recovery here, and there it is. He has to be very careful against this Panda.
All the sleeps we've been seeing from the Pioneers, he ended up going after the heal instead
Oh,
of the
the
sleep.
stun again. Very smart decision because he had a choice to do more damage with the second skill, and he ended up using the first skill there just to try and get the stun, and ends up setting him up to be able to get the kill safely with the second skill.
Very nice play and well done by Makeitabud to make the necessary adjustments going into round 2.
Yeah, that was after the Hathor Gani, he just was not going to let that happen.
Shut
again,
that down
so,
real quick.
Yeah, he blocked it right off the top after.
Right,
giving
and then
the
that's why
first
these
pick.
guys are G3. They learn from their mistakes. You know, once they lose, they don't lose that often. So it worked out really well for them.
Both the players right now just shaking off some nerves. Both all smiles.
Yeah, they're
though.
very
It's
excited.
round 3.
Very excited. And it's excited to watch them. There's a lot of positive energy from this community that has come from all over the world to be here for these regionals, and we've got more regionals that are going to be in New York next week, and you're going to see a lot of the same players that are traveling from wherever they are to be able to go there and see that. So you get a lot of smiles from a lot of people, even the competitors, which is good to see.
It's just good to see them having fun and fighting hard and clean as well.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
It's just a game.
Oh, keep saying that.
It's only $50,000 for World Finals.
Damn it.
Bud says his opponents will
All right,
describe him as, quote,
Faintmemory gets the win. Fairy King. Makeitabud going to have to approach this a little bit differently. This is, if he's going to end up winning this, is going to be completely different from the first 2 matches.
That's Bud's favorite character, by the way, monster rather. And when Bud told us how opponents describe his approach to the game, they say, well, they just think I'm lucky.
I don't think there was too much luck in that last round. It was very thought out and analyzed.
It was. I agree.
It was
And
probably one of the best adjustments
That
I've
was probably one of the
seen
closest
so far.
matches that we've seen. Yep, agreed.
Able to take his Fangyan back. So there's a couple different comps that you can run, and it looks like Makeitabud's doing the more bruiser approach, not really a control or a speed or a support approach. It's kind of all tanky monsters and trying to beat them down as best as possible.
The Annabelle. We've not seen this yet from Faintmemory. Final pick, 20 seconds. Makeitabud got to pick one more unit. I think the big decision for him right now is between the Molong and the Wusa. Let's go with Molong.
Yeah, I agree between those two. It was
I know,
a
it's
lot
such a tough situation, you know. He has Raccoonia for his support. He's got the Perna that will come back. He doesn't have to worry about Oblivion status because he ended up picking Tazarian, which is one of the only units that even offers Oblivion. So let's see how these bands go.
To the ban stage, is he going to take out one of the Gani or Hathor, or is he going to
I don't know.
leave them both in again and test it? And it looks like he does take down the Ganymede because he did not want to deal with the Gani-Hathor combination.
That worked out way too well for Faintmemory in the first game.
I like Makeitabud's decision, though, using the Tazarian resist lead. I mean, sometimes in these matches, especially when you know that your opponent has really fast units with a lot of harmful effects, that resist lead can sometimes just give you enough to be able to live long enough in this match.
Here we go. It is the 3rd game in this best of 3.
Molong with the immunity.
There it is, the resist
Will.
from Tazarian.
Yep, did get resisted for Tazarian. He stays alive, but I think having that Molong still alive is going to be able to give him a lot of playback here. Gets a triple stun.
That's rough.
For the
And even
Molong.
though Tazarian didn't get stunned there, but even though he got despair stunned by Chibu just now, it's not like Tazarian has a chance to even unenable one of the passives. He doesn't have any passives on
There's no
Faintmemory.
passives.
There's
He's
no
just
passives.
there for defense break and potentially
Harmful effects. And his resist lead.
dots.
Yeah, he's a dot.
Continuous damage.
Man, this Chibu is absolutely ridiculous from Faintmemory when it comes to getting the sleep from turn 1 and then just despair stuns as well, making it really brutal for Makeitabud to be able to have enough sustain to make it through this. trying to decide what he wants to do with his Molong. Gets the defense
Keeps
break on
turn.
Chiwu.
Skill 3 for now.
I think he's trying to set up his Perna to get like a really solid hit, and that attack break from Bastet really makes it tough for him to be able to do that. Attack break makes it so hard to be able to get a kill with Perna.
Now, Annabelle does have the heal up, but decides not to.
Sleep on Molong doesn't help. Annabelle gets to take another turn, additional turn.
Another turn from Annabelle.
Faintmemory has choices on what he wants to do against this team. No despair stuns from the Chiwu this time. Somewhat surprising.
Yeah, Makeitabud definitely needed that luck.
Yes, he
this
did.
time for that one.
That would have been it if he would have gotten a quad stun.
Missed the defense break though on Hathor, not setting up his Perna. Also with the attack break and glancing debuff on Perna, he's not doing a whole lot of damage. Did get the violent proc, and is he going to go for a stun? Or
he was hoping for a stun. I think he's going to try again. He's debating it right now. He's almost running out of time. Really needs a stun.
He
does get it. Making just a little bit closer. Girl's Prayer there, dispelling her Thor. And I think he kind of knew that. That's why he's got the second stun to follow up, unable to get the stun on the Thor in round 2.
And he did get the Annabelle to use her second skill to remove that stun, and it led up to Molong having a great time to use the Dragon Dance, was able to stun the Bastet, and
this could set up his Perna though. If Perna lives this, he did set up the defense break on Hathor, so Perna could get the shot on Hathor, and you could use Molong on something else.
Molong may take down.
I think his Perna's got what it takes to kill Hathor if the Bastet doesn't go first.
Bastet did go first. Oasis
I spoke
blessing.
too soon. Oh goodness.
Oh!
That is rough. But is that a Bioproc? Oh no.
Oh, it was not a...
I thought it looked like the Perna was going to take a turn before Thor was. Those are really fast units that Faintmemory has ruined.
It did. That's one of those things where you kind of just have to gamble at that point and either go for it and take down that Hathor with your Molong and use your Perna against something else. But that could have been a mistake that cost him the game in this end. But is he going to just go for it now and kill it? Or is he going to mess around a little bit again? And it is a tough decision. It's going to basically put your Molong out of the game for the rest of the match. Oh, big heal
That
from
heal
Annabelle.
is devastating. Cleanse the defense break and just gets her almost back to 80% HP.
You almost need to use that second skill there to help.
Yeah, I think at this point he's not in a situation where he has any defense breaks. He just has to somehow hope that he has enough to hold on and just live through sustain, get that recovery going. In between Perna's passive, maybe he can last long enough to be able to get a kill here.
The violent procs though from that Annabelle are crazy. Almost proccing out of every single stun that she's had, which is tough for Makeitabud to lock anything down.
He could potentially take out Hathor here. She might be low enough where with Reckless Assault he could take her down. Decides not to though. Faintmemory looking for sleep or attack break on the Perna. Definitely doesn't want Perna taking an attack this late in the match because Perna will hit extremely hard. 3-turn defense break on 3 units of Makeitabud's in a really rough position right now because even these support units that Faintmemory is running are starting to do a lot of damage as this match has lasted this long.
I just don't think the cards are in Makeitabud's favor, as we saw another violent proc from Annabelle come down just when she needed it, and Molong isn't going to be able to do anything. Just needs to land that defense break, and Perna's gone down for good now. He's not coming back. Tsarian slept again from Chiwu. Just can't get a turn.
However, he has Wind Panda though. Wind Panda could...
It's going to scale.
Maybe Chiwu's been doing really good though. I think his Chiwu is going to end up countering the Panda, but we'll see.
Down goes the Water Panda as Bud is down to just 2 units.
I mean, look at that. Look at it. Despair stun, Chiwu.
Make just one.
Slept. So you can...
Nope.
All right, do you put up the second skill, or do you kill the
yeah,
Hathor?
I think you go
Get
for
the
it.
violent proc. He does get the violent proc. It's exactly what he needed, and he is going to live to fight another day. Unfortunately, gets defense broken, but is able to still keep the revenge up. Is he going to go for the... He does, almost one-shotting the Annabelle as she gets lower and lower, but that Chiwu, like we talked about earlier, doing so much damage.
Super close, man.
Faintmemory moving on to face Barian.
Noble effort, no doubt, from Makeitabud, and indeed, as you said, Claytano, Faintmemory will be moving on to the semifinals.
It's so hard.
He is going to be facing off against Barian as the first half of the semifinal bracket is complete, and so is my life now that Fwa has joined us here at the desk. You were soaking that in with us there, Fwa. We thank Island Grown for his time over here as we welcome you in. What was your takeaway from that particular match?
Faintmemory was always one of those scariest guys that I've ever fought. Like, I probably have like a 10% win rate against him. He's actually the guy that I was rooting for in this tournament. He's just as good as when I played him. And yeah, I think he's one of the most unseen or like unnoticed best players that's up here.
Not for long, though, after we've taken a look at him in two separate matchups, and he's going to be, as we said, facing off with Barian. I can't wait to see that match. But first, let's head down to Maria Ho, who's standing by with Faintmemory. Maria.
Makeitabud made you earn it there. Were you getting a little bit nervous after he took the second game?
Yeah, very nervous. But I think like the second game he got more procs. Otherwise, I had a good chance at. Yeah.
So looking ahead, you're going to face Barian in the semifinals. Are you feeling pretty confident? What would you say?
Honestly, I have no clue right now because the last time I fought him was like a month ago. Yeah.
All right, well, you have a little time to prepare, so good luck.
And prepare he will as we look down to the bottom half of the remaining bracket.